Today on Drawbli, we are drawing.
You are drawing.
I am drawing.
What are you drawing?
What am I drawing? Click that subscribe button if you are new around here.
And comment below with ideas of what we can do to improve our journey as 2D artists.
So, this is a part of our artist studies, Abby, that we worked so hard on.
Artist studies, cool.
So I worked on 2 different artists' works, or actually, for this first one, a little bit incorrect of me to say, but these are by, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this, but I think it's To Art Studio or To Art Studio. Mm-hmm. I found a bunch of their works on ArtStation, so I'm not exactly sure who is responsible from their studio for what, but I do believe that they also work with a lot of students, so I'm not sure exactly if this is student work that I'm working off of, or more so, working professionals.
Well, it looks super
part of this.
cool.
It does, yeah. In particular with these characters, like with this study, my goal was to work on proportions and really try to represent some of these forms well.
Proportion and forms, cool.
Yeah, so I thought there was like a lot of cool stuff going on with these. They're very dimensional. Mm-hmm. So I think for most of these, I just did a simple shadow pass on them. So I started with some, rough lines, worked on those, and then did what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, I like watching this. I'm learning. It's cool.
Yeah, I learned a lot from doing this as well. It's definitely something that I think I would do again. It looks like I'm doing another set of like lesser, so we also do a value study soon, so this was like a little bit in that vein.
We do?
We do a value study, yeah, black and white value
study.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, Abby.
I did do it.
Are you in here today?
I didn't know that's what you meant.
Yeah, we have a value study coming up soon that we did. Yeah, there's like a lot of really cool just, I think proportions, and I'm a big fan of any time that the standard anatomical form is exaggerated and pushed nearly to the breaking point. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of that going on with each of these, and you'll see like even more extreme versions of that as we continue forward. It also gave me an opportunity to work on my process in general. So
process in general, yes.
Yes. So, I've seen a lot of people. This was actually something that you mentioned recently. Starting off with like a really rough sketch. And you just kind of do that really quick. You fade it out, and then you do like a more refined sketch over top of that.
Yeah.
So that's, as you can see, exactly what I'm doing here. Real rough,
cool.
And then I'm trying to be a little more clean with my secondary pass, but honestly, you guys know how clean I am, so my lines are not the most clean in the world, but I'm getting better. I'm working on it.
We know what you're capable of. Just not with 2D yet, but we know that you know what a clean form looks like, obviously.
You know that I know that we know that you know that I know what a clean form looks like. Think about it.
Yes, I will not think about that or my brain will shatter. Oh, speaking of forms, I just want to interject here, and with my brain shattering, I was helping a friend, as you know, set up her cosplay.
Yes.
We made this huge 3-dimensional tail out of cardstock off of these very complex patterns that involved...
foam? What was
hers was cardstock.
Okay.
Mine is going to be foam if we ever finish it.
What is the foam? It's like...
The foam is like, I don't know how to describe these diamonds, crystals.
The type of foam that you use.
Oh, EVA foam.
EVA, that's what it is,
yeah. But with my friend's tail we were making, it's a big like 3-dimensional foxtail.
For an Ari cosplay from League of Legends.
Yeah, or from League of Legends. Yeah, I said KDA. It required all these teeny tiny little flaps to like connect to each other and be taped together just right, and then as if that wasn't frying enough, you had to reverse it all to mirror the other half of the tail and
so
totally
like a
swap it in your brain.
Like...
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be tough. Yeah, I saw photos of it. Maybe we could put a photo of the tail up on screen.
Oh yeah, bring.
Bring. There's another one. Wow. So fancy. Yeah, I have never done much in terms of fabrication, so I know that it can be very time consuming. That definitely looks extremely time consuming, or at least from what I've seen.
That's what these images, and not to totally sidetrack, but that's what these images made me think of, was all those little facets, because all
the planar nature.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love, these references you have here, because of all the planes. It looks like something you would sculpt.
Absolutely, yeah. Very much in the vein of my, desired style. Or I'm just like a really big fan of clean, readable forms, and these are examples of that, pushed pretty hard. And like I said, it gave me a chance to really get in here and work on the general process. I mean, proportions are something that are really tough for me, I think, in general. Gesture is really tough for me. It's all really tough.
It's also so hard.
All so hard.
I feel like we used to say that a lot more in the very, very beginning. Just turn to each other. It's just all so hard. We say that less now.
We do say that a little bit less, but it's still hard, huh?
Yeah.
We're getting better, that means. Or at least we're getting better at not complaining as much.
Oh, that could be just more positive attitude.
Oh, yes, our attitudes are
We've
improving.
adjusted to the idea that it's just always going to be difficult.
Yes, we've been beaten down enough now that we're like, yes, we are ready. But
Ooh, I like this
you
guy
are
too.
also working on a cosplay, right?
Yeah, it's the very first one I've ever worked on or created.
Who is it of?
I don't remember her
You
name.
don't
I'm just
remember?
along for the ride.
Yeah. It is the girl with purple hair from the KDA
See,
group.
you don't know who she is either.
Well, I'm not cosplaying as her. I would feel like if I was creating the costume of the character, or, working on the accessories.
Here's what I think is noteworthy, is that this character, of the four main characters, I think there's four in this KDA pop group, my two friends I'm going with are going as the two main most favorite characters.
Oh, so you're saying that you got the side chick.
Well, I didn't get the not side chick, but I didn't have as much skin in the game that I wanted to be oh no, I must be so-and-so or so-and-so. My motivation was who's wearing the most comfortable shoes. But
Oh, and are you wearing comfortable shoes?
well, it will not be fully in keeping with the character, but yes, I will be wearing relatively comfortable shoes because that's just how I live now. I've broken bones in both of my feet in the past, and so heels are really not my friends.
I believe it's Evelyn, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope, it's not Evelyn.
It's not Evelyn?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, because Evelyn has the
gosh.
other thing. It's the other one.
It's the other one.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Nice
well,
Googling this. We try. Yeah.
I tried.
But it's been interesting. I've learned more about vinyl wrapping than I ever wanted to learn in a short amount of time. Wrapping kind of...
you kind of know more about UVing now.
UVing?
It's a 3D thing. Don't worry about
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what all these figures are making me think of, is just the wrapping of very specific forms. So not to sidetrack from the amazing stuff you're doing
it.
here.
Oh gosh, I'm literally just copying other people's art and trying to learn from it. What little my little pea brain can glean.
I would love to do this. I think the shapes and silhouettes created here are awesome. Their use of negative space too is really nice and interesting. All of their negative spaces have a good amount of alternation of
Shape
curve
design.
and straight. Yeah, exactly. I love to see that. I love to pretend I can recognize it.
It's very intentional by the artists. So a lot of good stuff to learn here from.
The angularness of the calves is always something I really like to see.
You will hear a lot of people, I don't know exactly what level of artists they are, but at least all the professionals that I know will say what I'm about to say. You'll hear a lot of people say something along the lines of, you should never copy other artists' work, you should always work from real life. But I completely disagree with that.
Yeah, that sounds bogus.
In every way. Yeah, you can learn a lot from other artists.
Oh yeah,
by
master
copying
studies
their
have been a
work.
thing forever.
Yeah.
Whoever's saying that is wrong. You're wrong.
You're wrong! You're so wrong!
Yeah, master studies have been a thing since before the Renaissance, probably.
Yeah, and I think actually more so than a master study, because typically a master study is going in with the intention of a one-to-one copy, but I actually think you can learn a lot from just trying to work off of another artist's work without necessarily copying it perfectly.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I love to look at artists' work like Loish and think maybe me one day. Oh, who's that guy?
That was, well, there's the lineup, of course, of my
They
5
look
little
awesome.
characters. It's a fun little lineup. Characters always look better in a lineup for some reason.
They do.
That little dude in the left corner was a little extra drawing. That's from Boji, the anime we were watching. And
Ranking
he's like,
of Kings.
Ranking of Kings, right? And he's like, I don't know, one of the bad guys.
One of the little minor bad guys. That was such an interesting story.
Anyway, we were just watching that, and I quickly drew him. So yeah,
Nice.
little bonus.
Like it. I like it.
And then for the second artist that I'm working from, this is the artist Nurzan Bekaliev.
Look at all these round forms.
And they have a very, very fun style.
Yeah.
Obviously, in terms of shape language, there's a lot of what I would just call rounded boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I have censored these images a little bit.
Oh,
I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, I can tell.
To save us from the hammer of YouTube.
Well, thank you for catering to YouTube's sensitive soul.
Right. But either way, I really liked the artwork that this artist creates. Very fun. I think there's a lot to learn here. And I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to learn going in. I just knew that I enjoyed their art, and I wanted to try to recreate these 3 characters rather roughly and quickly. But by the end of it, I did learn a lot. One thing in particular that I learned was if you take a look at the shapes in the silhouette for all of these forms, they have a lot of what I would call hits and breaks, these points where the surface turns. And I think a really good example would be something like the character's legs. If you just follow one of those lines on the outside of the character's leg that I'm working on now, like that front part of the upper leg, it curls and wraps around, it hits the knee wraps around, and then we curl down to the foot. And finding these little points of areas in the silhouette, like starting off I had to draw these really sharp, and you'll see as I go through here, I get better at recognizing these subtleties a little more because I start off creating them really hard and sharp. Like, look at that knee. I'm even over drawing some of it because that's what they do a little, but I'm doing that. But then I go back in later and I do it all in one line. So what ends up happening is those sharp hits that, I'm visually seeing that aren't super sharp, I'm downplaying them. I'm making them more subtle. And that is one thing that I really picked up on from this artist's style and recognizing in terms of what they do with line.
Yeah.
If you look at the back part of the upper thigh of this character, right below the butt, it dips in the slightest amount, ever so slightly. So I exaggerate that at first, and then I come back to it later, and I overdraw it and kind of not erase it completely, but I downplay it a lot.
I think this is also a great example of how simple does not mean easy. At a glance, these are pretty simple shapes, but I can tell that you might learn from drawing them, to recreate them and have that same impact is so hard.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job. That's not what I'm trying to say.
No. I always talk about all the time about how simple doesn't mean easy, and people often conflate the two. But, when you have less, with these characters, aka simplicity, and you have relationships between these different shapes, that just makes the relationship between those that much more important because they have to be proportioned exactly correct. They have to be positioned, exactly correct. Everything has to be perfect for it to read the same. Which, again, wasn't my goal here. It was more just so trying to learn as much as I could in a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah. Well, that looks like a fun exercise. I like that your artist study really just involved artists that you seem to like a lot.
But yeah, there are my finished little doodles based on the work of Nurzan.
Oh, I love them.
And I threw in a little drop shadow at the bottom.
Oh, so
Really, yeah, very professional.
Yeah, and these look like they were a lot of fun to learn from too. Do you feel like you learned a lot?
Yeah, I actually do. They were, they're obviously very rough. I think these 3 took a little less than an hour, but I do feel like I learned a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I would recommend find those artists that you enjoy and try to learn as much as you can from them.
I'm gonna give it a go.
That's how you develop your own style.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You have your own style, but that's how you develop it further.
Gotcha.
Well, hey, speaking of developing, you could help develop our YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button.
And comment below with ideas of how we can further develop our art.
Ooh, I like that. And this is the part where we say
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Gotta learn from other artists. That's what it's all about.
That's how things develop.
Yeah, you could learn from us, but don't do as we say. Don't do as we do. Do the opposite. Wait, do better.
Yes.
Do better than what we do.
I'm happy.
I'm happy and you know it, man, your teeth.